It's that time again, guys, where the liars get to lie and the campaigners get to campaign, regardless if they're telling the truth or not. Where they get to rebrand themselves because they understand that a majority of the adults right now have a retention memory that is probably less than a 5-year-old. But before you decide to just accept everything that they're campaigning, and before you even start to do anything as they are gearing up for the 2026 election for a lot of the community, a lot of the local municipalities, I want to encourage you to not do like you have done in the prior, to not do like you have done in the past. Actually start to research these people before you make the decision to select them. You got to understand, these people work for you, not the other way around. I need y'all to understand this. And I'm not prying on if you don't want to vote. If you don't want to vote, you can listen on to the video or just keep on going. But if you do decide to vote, listen up. Here's some things to consider. Whoever is running right now, because there's a lot of them and there's going to be a lot more coming into the 2026, I want you to start asking them, how does a lot of the bills that were passed federally, how does that impact police in your city, in your county? How does it affect cuts? How does it affect funding? How does it affect security? The same federal bills, how does it affect education in your city, in your county, and in your state? There's a lot of cuts that was happening. How does that affect? Now, if your kids is in private school or homeschool, I still want you to look into it because it could affect it. I want you to look at the same funding to see how does it affect after school program, kid programs. So, for example, that funding that happened on the federal, it impacted the Boys and Girls Clubs. There are some people that utilize services like the Boys and Girls Club. So this also could be a time for you guys to give it to charity, right? Hint, hint. I've been trying to make y'all look into charities, right? But also, how does this affect city, county, state? Not where you live. Baby, you live in where you live in and you worried about something way in Iowa. Make it make sense. Now, if you're just doing it for commentary, fine. But if you really want to be active about what you're voting for, stick to your state. How are they going to promote visibility for their meetings? So if they become an elected official, how are they going to be more visible? It seems like the only time they're visible is when they want to solicit your vote. But then when they're actually in office, it's like they go silent, incognito. They need the same level of visibility so that people know when they have meetings, so that people know when they're signing off on stuff, when they're signing off on bills, and actually using words that the general population understand, because that's another way that they be getting away with stuff. They use a bunch of jargons and a bunch of political terms that they know that the general population will not understand. How can regular citizens be a part of the governor boards? So when people have governors over state, they usually have boards. They need to start talking about that more. How can regular folks, regular citizens get a part of these boards? These boards are volunteer. They're volunteer. They're not paid. But I promise you, you want to know who the movers and shakers is besides Congress? Go to those governor boards. When those new companies come into your town, I need you guys to press these people about the fact that these companies get tax credit, and they said that they're going to bring in, for example, they're going to bring in 1,000 jobs. Well, of that 1,000 jobs, are they going to make sure that the people that are getting those jobs are actually from that city or that county? Not a person that's relocating, not a person that's overseas, not something that's going to be outsourced, and not a job that is going to be done with the minute that that job is finished, built up. See, y'all need to start pressing them, because a lot of these companies get the tax credit, but they don't make any demands on making sure that these people are existing residents of that city, that county, or that state, or they're not relocators. I know one state that was really good about it. And now that I'm thinking, I'm actually happy. North Carolina, they did that to one of those big $1 billion corporations. I'm glad they stood on business. They made sure that only residents of North Carolina could have applied for that job or get that job. And then if they was moving out of state, they had to leave that job. If these are existing politicians, or if these are existing individuals that's trying to run up for election, I need you to look at references. I need you to go back to their past things that they promised and see if they even made sure that any of those promises was actually fulfilled. I need you to look at the pandemic response. Where was that elected official? Was they incognito like Kamala, or was they actually standing hard for their citizen? Where were they? What coercion were they a part of? Y'all need to start going back to the past to hold these people up to the light and stop just allowing them to get into these positions because of charismatic. And they give some of y'all kids candy and they do all this hoop and holler and they put y'all on TV for free. If they're a new person, I need you to start asking them for references. I need you to ask them what kind of projects they were a part of, whatever job or whatever that they were doing. If they said that they was in the military, can you find a way to find out, was they really in the military? I need you to look beyond the titles. Why y'all think some of the stuff that's going on in the church is such a hot mess? Because people just like to go by titles. And why? By what another person said. No, go directly to the horse. Go directly to them. Press these people. Last but not least, I need y'all to pay attention to the judicial system. I've been saying it since last year. We need to pray for the judicial system. With everything that has happened in the pandemic, there should be no reason why we re-electing the same mobsters that were sitting there detaining people against their rights because they didn't want to get the job. I don't care how y'all feel about the situation. There should be no reason why a person... Look, we are in the free country of the United States. Why are they forcing us to do things against our body? So is my body my choice when it comes to unalive children. But it's not my body my choice when it comes to I'm not comfortable with this health situation. Y'all get a grip. Pay attention to the judicial. Look at their records. Look at their past records. Find out who they went to college with and see what them people had to say about them people. Because 9 times out of 10, if they were a jerk 30 years ago when they were in college, they're going to be a jerk now. Until the next one.